Oi? Deixa eu descer aqui. Deixa eu descer por aqui.
Thanks. Registration took 45 minutes. And again.
Siéntate aquí, directamente. Sí. Déjame un segundo.
Está entonces Marco, está Inés.
No, Inés no está. Está Marco.
Ivonne.
Pablo va en lugar de Inés.
A Pablo va.
Y
Entonces,
Pablo va en lugar de
misma-
Porfirio.
Espérate.
Creo que estamos listos. ¿Estamos listos?
Listo.
Ok.
¿Se abre esto?
Creo que están encendidas.
¿Aló? ¿Aló? ¿Me escuchan?
Hola.
Acércate.
Hola.
Acércate.
Sí.
¿Aló? ¿Me escuchan?
Hola.
Ok. Bien, muy buenos días a todos que nos acompañan.
Good morning, everyone.
Vamos a tener una sesión muy interesante. De hito para la equidad, avanzando en la distribución de beneficios con pueblos indígenas, comunidades locales y pueblos.
In progress of press in Ecuador. The goal of this press conference
Describir el estado del proceso de construcción
of the building process of the benefit distribution plan PDP in Ecuador, a process that started in 2022. The idea is to have an emphasis on the lessons that we have learned, as well as the leadership of social organizations that participate on it. As we have limited time, we will be asking different questions so that the participants can provide us with the right answers. First of all, we have Pablo, which is the Afro-Ecuadorian representative. The question for Pablo would be, dear Pablo, could you please indicate the state of the distribution plan in Ecuador, as well as its importance for the Afro-descendants people in this process? The floor is yours. Thank you very much. Sababona. First of all, I would like to thank you for the opportunity that we have been given through EDF. Thank you for inviting us to this press conference to talk about the importance that the Afro-Ecuadorian people has to us, the fact of being part of the building of the new benefit distribution plan. It is true that before, it was applied before through RED Plus, especially in the Amazon, from 2022, respecting the different principles of the Constitution of the Republic, and as a pluri-ethnical and pluricultural country, we are recognized the right to be part of this process of the building of the new distribution plan. This is indeed an opportunity that has allowed not only the inclusion, but also the strengthening of the local capacity, because us, as Afro-Ecuadorian, we are owners of lands. We have ancestral territories that has been allocated to us. We have tropical forests, but we have also maritorio, and here we have manglers as well. So for us as Afro-Ecuadorian people, it has been a great opportunity to prove that inclusion is needed. So be part of the building process of this benefit distribution plan means that we have to comply with it, and they need to recognize what we have been doing so far, taking care of our natural resources. Thank you very much, Pablo. Now we have the intervention of one of the representatives of the coordinator of Indian organization of the. We have our colleague here, Marco. So what are the expectations of the indigenous organizations about how resources will get to the territories, and what is the difference in this benefit distribution plan, how the different criteria, the different consent criteria, free, previous, and informed, how is this affected the brothers and sisters representing the Directive Council of the coordinator of the indigenous organization of the Amazon Basin COINCA of 9 countries. The process of the benefit distribution plan in the Amazon has been coordinated through the CONFENIAI. This is a legitimate organization that groups 11 nationalities as well as 23 indigenous communities. CONFENIAI, together with their partners, has ensured that the activities of socialization and consultation are moving forward. For 3 years, different workshops have been organized on the territories on the center, north, and the south of the Amazon region, and a RED agenda has been implemented at national level, seeking opportunities for funding which respond in an efficient manner to our local visions. This plan is different because it was co-built with the indigenous representation from the very beginning, with culturally adequate methodologies, information in different languages, time for internal deliberations, different documents showing agreements, the possibility, real possibility of saying no or making an impact on the consent. Free consent, previous and informed, is complied with through different stages of information, consultation, and community decision, without coercion and with complaint mechanisms and verification mechanisms. In the upcoming months, it is expected to close the process through different participative measures that legitimately define the participation of the indigenous peoples and local communities. as well as our brothers from Ecuador. When it comes to the distribution of the potential benefits that are linked to carbon markets, what we expect is to have transparency when it comes to the rules. We want an effective inclusion in every single stage: design, implementation, and monitoring. I insist, processes don't have to stop. We need to move forward. It is the obligation of the responsible ones that the funds, the programs really reach the territories where families that are waiting. Families are waiting for this funding with the aim of transforming the reality, our reality, the one we live day by day. So we are waiting for these funds. Donors need to comply with their commitment, as well as the state. They need to respect this commitment. No more speeches. Let's go to the facts. This program, this process needs to be respected in an effective manner. Thank you so much. Thank you, dear Marco. Well, I would like to welcome Porfirio, another representative of the RUEDA. Porfirio, could you please explain what the implementation plan is for the Afro-Ecuadorian people? What are the advances, the progress that has been made so far, and how this is articulated with the benefit distribution plan, particularly in the territories of forests and in the manglers networks? Good morning, everyone. My name is Porfirio Martinez, Valencia, representative of the Manglar Users Network, the Afro-Ecuadorian people at the north of the Esmeralda province. This is a way, the plan is a way to have different social activities in the territory, in the Afro-Ecuadorian territory. We want equity. We want to have equity in the different processes that has been happening in the territory, in the social work of our organizations, our community organizations. When it comes to the participation in the carbon plans, what we always ask is for processes to be equitable for all our organizations and all our territories. The territory needs to be the one benefiting from it. Similarly, we have worked on participatory planning to be able to take this plan forward. We have performed some diagnosis as well with all the organizations that are inside the territory. The plan has an alternative when it comes to the use and custody of the manglers. So it is articulated, all this proposal, all these initiatives as part of our plan is articulated. The idea is to make progress and to implement our social activities because the people really needs it. In this regard, we ask for equity to be able to move forward and complying with different activities about control and surveillance, restoration of manglers, and considering the different regulations that are in place regarding the use of manglers. Thank you very much, Porfirio. Now we're going to give the floor to the representative, the next representative, our colleague Yvonne Chavez. Why is it important to have international assistance in processes such as the benefit distribution plan in Ecuador? And how we can ensure the strength of community leadership. This could be an example, and this could help explain how the NUYAC initiatives are connected. The floor is yours. Dear sisters and brothers de Alicunyan, I would like to welcome you here. International assistance is very important because it offers 3 key elements for the distribution plan, the benefit distribution plan. Technical skills, secondly, funding, and thirdly, which is the most important one, provide visibility and position the vision of the indigenous peoples, local communities, and Afro-descendants. But this cooperation only has a real meaning if our leadership is reinforced. Resources need to arrive to the territory directly without intermediate parties. Decisions need to be taken by the participation of all. Previous consent and continuous consent needs to exist, accountability and real spaces for women and youth. From women in the Napo province, we see that the distribution plan needs to offer technical support, but not only that. They need to offer opportunities to connect with different allies networks, certifications and access to markets for sustainable products. In this case, for William, regarding cocoa. We need to have clear rules that need to come from the communities. The RED Plus process, as well as the benefit distribution plan, can offer resources and links, providing visibilities to the indigenous bioeconomy. And we can help move processes forward. Thank you. Now we are going to have the intervention of the representative of the Environmental Defense Fund that has been accompanying the process. We are going to give the floor to our colleague Santiago. Santiago, what are the next steps in this benefits distribution plan? The floor is yours. Thank you very much, Onel. Good morning, everyone. So, from EDF, it's very important to be here talking about a project that started in 2022, the building process of a plan to distribute benefits in Ecuador. I think it is important that one of the lessons that we have learned during almost these 3 years working in the process is that we need to highlight principles such as trust and the willingness of the indigenous peoples to work on this tool that seeks to bring transparency, identify how the climate funds can have an impact on the territories. Secondly, we want to have identity or to have a connection with the local context, how these resources need to be applied afterwards according to the local visions. This has not been an easy task. The consultation process has been requiring the participation of different stakeholders, both in the Amazon and our Afro-Ecuadorian brothers that have gathered thanks to the building process of this plan. They have joined the RED strategy. This work has been co-led by the indigenous organizations, indigenous peoples, local communities, and Afro-descendants people, with the government, with the RED authority in the country, thanks to initiatives such as the UK part that is financing the second part, and the idea is to complete the plan. We hope to have it ready by the beginning of next year. We hope that by next year we will have a plan. And perhaps the challenge is for us to be able to show that in this occasion we can really have an impact on the territory. And finally, we would like to highlight that we are all aligned. We have the same goal. It is important to accelerate the processes, and it's important that these processes continue so that the resources and the economic benefits arrive to the territory, and they do it soon. In the meanwhile, we have other type of benefits or co-benefits that are being identified. For example, the opportunity to offer participation in key spaces such as this one. Thank you very much. I would like to hear from the participants I would like to know what the next steps are. We could start. Yes, you can decide, actually. Whomever wants to start is fine. Mr. Porfirio, for example. First of all, I would like to say that the priority for us is to conclude our plan. This is an opportunity for us to have our portfolio of proposals and activities for our organization. Secondly, as we have always said, it is important for it to be a solidary work. It's important to count on all the territorial organizations and our people. It's important for us to have an equitable participation, and it's important for us to get the benefits to be able to implement a series of activities. To be honest, the ones that are working on the territories, with our organizations, and also the indigenous peoples' organizations, what happens is that sometimes we don't have the means to do that. So that's the idea. The idea is that donors and the ones that really make decisions get to the territory and comply with these needs. In this case, the next steps need to be efficient. We need to have a plan. That's very important. We need to meet again, and we need to consolidate a planification that is actually respected. We need to have an accompaniment, because most of the times there's no representativity. There needs to be an accompaniment by the indigenous organizations, both at the local, regional, national, and international level. That's what I think should happen, because if we count on everyone's participation, I mean, this has to improve now. Funds and programs need to be implemented. We don't just want to hear speeches. The peoples, the territories, the communities, we are waiting. We have been waiting for decades, actually. I hope this COP can actually deliver on that. The peoples I represent at the Amazon basin, at the Ecuador Amazon level, I mean, we cannot keep bearing this. We cannot keep waiting. I would like you to understand that. I would like the international cooperation to understand it. I would like governments and states to understand that programs are actually need to become effective. That's what we want. As long as the owners keep preserving, keep maintaining that, resources and funding shouldn't be absent. It needs to arrive with the participation of all the stakeholders. Thank you very much. Hello. In our view, can you hear me? Hello? Okay. So, in our view, as Afro-Ecuadorian people, both from the Confederation of the Esmeralda North and the network of Manglar users, and I think that also for our company and colleagues, it is very important that the Ministry for the Environment, the Secretariat for Climate Change, it's important to stick to the agreed time, because we have until December to conclude this implementation plan. What do we expect? We hope to reach our goals, because if we respect the agreed times, then it is possible that everything that has been done since 2022-2023 is not seen as some kind of hope or a real hope. The jurisdictional network, I mean, for us in our communities, from the coast, the Amazon and other regions, this is very meaningful. What we do hope is to achieve our goals. It is true that we have meetings, etc., but it's important for the percentages to be defined as well, for the peoples and the nationalities, how this distribution is going to happen, so that we can apply the projects in our territories. So that's what we hope. We hope that in the remaining time that we have to build this plan, so I hope that we can really get there. We have until the end of the year. Can you hear me? We need to continue with the roadmap. Hello, can you hear me? We need to continue with our roadmap. We need to stick to the agreed times. We need to actually gather the criteria of all the peoples to define clear rules, clear rates, so that it really represents our peoples, and we need to do it in a transparent manner. These tools are making us include as people, and we need to have clear rules. Thank you very much. In order to conclude, I would like to provide some key messages. First of all, the benefit distribution plan establishes transparent rules that are fair to distribute the RED Plus benefits, monetary benefits, cash and cashless benefits at the territory level in Ecuador. Secondly, in Ecuador, the benefits distribution plan prioritizes equity, seeks to build trust, to reduce deforestation, and to open up sources of funding that are adapted to the local contexts. Number 3, who are the ones that are sitting on the table? Confenae, that groups nationals from the Amazon, Afro-descendant peoples, autonomous governments that are decentralized, as well as other allies. What about the next steps? As the panelists just said it, we need to count on allocation criteria that are clear, accountability, complaint mechanisms, and pilots in different territories in order to validate and adjust the implementation. We hope that this plan is concluded by the beginning of 2026, so that the indigenous peoples, Afro-descendant peoples, as well as other peoples, can actually get the benefits from RED Plus in a direct way. We all know what the criticism has been. I think that our brothers from Ecuador want to prove that it is possible to work in the jurisdictional RED Plus, and the real benefits really get to the communities and doesn't remain in the intermediate parties. I think that's what the plan looks for. We all need to be involved so that these benefits are actually received. Thank you very much to our dear panelists, and thank you for the public as well. I think we have 1 minute. I don't know if someone else would like to say some final remarks. Otherwise, I think we have used the time that we had. Thank you very much. So if you need anything, we will be around, and you can come to us to ask some questions. Thank you so much.